To me, Imam Hussein means the world. Not to say that Imam Hussein means more than any other of the Imams, or Rasulullah himself, or Sayyidah Fatima Zahra salamullahi alayhi. But the story of Imam Hussein comes across as one of the most eventful, one of the most tragic, and throughout all the other Imams, there's always an emphasis on Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. To do the ziyarah of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, to make sure you remember Ashura, to the extent where Imam Mahdi, Sahib al-Zaman, says, he cries in Ziyarat al-Nahiya, he says that he doesn't cry tears, but he cries tears of blood for Imam al-Hussein. It's an example for us to follow on the remembrance of Abba Abdullah. And every year when the black flag is hoisted onto the shrine, the change of flag, which we only witnessed a couple of days ago, as soon as the moon changes from Dhul Hijjah to Muharram, life itself pretty much changes for me. Everything all year round revolves around Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, but specifically in Muharram, because everything we have today, everything we know about religion today, is all down to the sacrifice Imam al-Hussein made in Karbala. And for me, it means absolutely everything.
It's kind of early morning. We are on the way to Calais. We've got to Dover quite early Monday morning and going over to see sort of our brothers and sisters in the refugee camps over there. Specific purpose for this trip is to set up provisions for the commemoration of the 10 days of Muharram, of Ashura, and commemoration of the morning for Imam Hussein Islam. So we're hopefully going to go get some material, set up the camp and everything, and meet them and see how things are over in Calais.
What Karbala means to me is a very difficult question. But if I could sum it up, 355 days in the Islamic calendar, and the 354 days are like a moon that revolves around the 355th day, which is Ashura. If there was any way to explain it, is that the rest of the year revolves around that very single day. There's many great occasions. There's there's the day of Arafah. There's the day of the nights of Qadr. There's many great occasions. There's the Eids. There's the istishhad of Imam Ali alayhi salam. There's the istishhad of Sayyidah Fatima, and we commemorate the days Jannatul Baqi were broken down. But Ashura is something else. The level of sacrifice Imam Hussein gave, people could write about for centuries to come and they would never understand. And there are no words in the English or the Arabic or any language in the world that would be able to comprehend the sacrifice Imam Hussein gave on that day. From the personalities of Karbala, the people I most likely or attached to the most, there's many, if not all of them, because each of them was sacrificed in a different way, each of them gave their lives in a different way, all for the same cause. And in Ziyarat al-Ashura we pray that if we were with you on that fateful day we would have been the same. But there's many things. There's the loyalty of Abu Fadl Abbas, and then there's stories of companions. Hani ibn Urwa, and Muslim ibn Awsaja, they were men of old age, and you know, there's narrations that Muslim ibn Awsaja even had to tie his turban to hold his eyebrows from covering his face because he had reached over the ages of 90, and he would ride on the horse to go and fight the enemy. And even when Hani ibn Urwa fell, he said to Muslim, he goes, don't let Hussein come here because he'll see my cuts and he'll feel bad, because I know when Hussein sees me, you know, I don't want Hussein to see me like this, because he'll start to look after me, because I know when Hussein falls, no one will be there for Hussein. And for Abu Fadl Abbas, salamullahi alayhi, he went out into the battle, and he had so much love for his niece, Sakina, Ruqayya, salamullahi alayha, that he said, you know, his last words to Imam Hussein alayhi salam, don't take my body back to the tents as you have done with everyone else, because I don't know how I can meet Ruqayya like this, or how I can meet Sakina like this. And another amazing character was Abis, who said, in the love of Hussein I've become crazy. And that statement in itself means so much, that in the love of Hussein I've become crazy. There's just so much to Imam Hussein and the story of Karbala and the event that took place on the day of Ashura, that every individual that went into battle on that day has a characteristic which we should try and aspire towards.
Large part of them want to go to England. First, Calais is the only place you can try to cross channel without paying smugglers. Second, they hope, since some weeks, they hope that British government is going to send people in the camp and say to people, okay, come to Britain. Yeah, we give you asylum.
Well, this project came together by surprise and by an absolute stroke of luck. If I can give you a little background, I came to Calais with another group who came, and we found out that they were coming. We gave them a call. We said, listen, can we tag along? You know, my mum pushed the initiative. She goes, listen, son, we have to go. And we were under the assumption that it was, you know, majority Syrian refugees living in Calais. And you know, I'd seen Ross Kemp's documentary, I'd seen a couple of videos on the news, and I went, you know what, I don't do much on the weekends, let's make our way down there. We booked a ferry. You know, there was me, my mum, my 3 brothers and my 2 cousins in a 7-seater. And you know, we just made our way to Calais. We went to the sorting warehouse, we saw the jungle, we made our way around. And we were just like, this is, to believe you're in France is just incredibly ridiculous. To think that this is how people are living in the Western sphere of the world, you know, the humanitarian human rights. You know, you go there, and I've been Syria, I've been Iraq, I've been Nepal, I've been to, you know, plenty, I've been Pakistan and India, I've been to plenty, you know, third world countries, and seen how people over there live. And it resembled a lot of what poverty's like back in the third world countries. And this is literally just off the shores of Britain. You know, it takes 3 hours from my house to get here. You know, it's a 1.5 hour drive to Dover, a 1.5 hour ferry, and all of them live right by the ferry port. So you know, on the first trip, I was just awestruck, and I said, we have to go back.
We're now just collecting all the things we brought along with us to Calais for. So our brothers and sisters, they've asked for sort of durbas, they've asked for Qurans, they've asked for various artifacts of religious nature for commemoration, for prayer, that kind of thing. And we're just basically bringing you back to them now. And as you can see, the weather is chucking it down. It's pretty cold, it's going to get worse. I just can't imagine they're going to go through in the next few months. So it's just unimaginable.
We realised it wasn't just Syrians. There's actually there's very few Syrians around. Majority of the refugees are Sudanese, Eritrean, Iraqi, and there's smaller groups of Pakistanis and Afghanistanis, and it's a mix of so many different people. And the jungle, which is what they call where they live, it's been around for almost 2 years, probably even longer. So it's not something new. It's something that's been going around, or it's been there for quite a while, and we just haven't been aware of it. It came to our attention with the picture that went viral of a child washed up on the sea. It struck a lot of interest in the media and made a lot of people aware of what kind of struggles the refugees are going through. And we came across a tent with a Kuwaiti flag on it, and I saw some of the people. They were wearing aqiq like this one. Some of them had Firoza, some of them had Dur Najaf, which are all quite strong Shi'i rings basically. And they're quite symbolic. And I also wear on my hand the rope, or what we call the doro of Hazrat Abbas السلام, which I got from Karbala. So when I asked them who they were, what they were doing, they told me that, look, we lived in Kuwait, but they're Bedouin, which is basically Bedouin, or what we would know as gypsies. They had no documents, they have no passports. The majority of them moved over from Iraq to move away from Saddam's oppression. Simply because they were Shia, they had to move over to save their lives, to save their families' lives. And some of these people were born in Kuwait, but they were never given Kuwaiti nationality. So it came to a point where the government said, if you don't have Kuwaiti nationality, you have to leave our country. They couldn't go back to Iraq. It's not like any of their neighbouring countries would look after them. So they said, we'll make our way to Europe, where the land of opportunity as such. So they made their way here, and they're stuck here. And while I was learning of this, the guy, he grabbed my armband and he goes, Husseini, because they speak Arabic. I don't speak Arabic at all. So the conversation was very minimal. And he'll tell me an entire story of which I'll pick up a couple of words off and try and comprehend. But he grabbed my armband and he goes, Husseini, Alawi, Shi'i. I went, Alhamdulillah. And he goes, Ana, he goes, Kullu, like we're all Husseini, we're all Karbalai, we're all there, we're all together in this. And my heart dropped. I was like, how many of you are there? And he goes, Arba'miya, there's 400 people. And I was like, what, here? And he goes, yeah, in Kale. And I was like, what? He goes, like 400 people. And I said, he goes, don't you guys know? And I went, no, we don't know. And he goes, oh, we've tried to contact people in London to tell everyone. I was like, I swear by God that I never knew you guys were here. Otherwise I would have been here the day I found out. And I told him, I said, look, you're my brothers. We have so much in common. We share the same faith. We love the same respected individuals. What do you want? I'll bring you jackets, I'll bring you jumpers, I'll bring you shoes, I'll bring you tents, I'll bring you blankets. And he goes, no, I don't want that. He goes, just bring me Hussein. He goes, it's been 2 years, I haven't heard a majalis from Muharram. He goes, just bring me Hussein. And I swear to God that hit my heart so hard. And there was a respectable sheikh with me as well who witnessed this. And we got together and we were just like, listen, bro, we've got to make this happen. I said, whatever it takes, let's give them a Muharram this year. Let's give them majalis. Let's give them Azadari. Let's give them Latmiya. Let's do whatever it takes to make sure that they have a Muharram and that Imam Hussein's name is heard inside the jungle in Kale, as much as it's heard in London, as much as it's heard in Australia and Africa and Iraq and Karbala itself.
Assalamu alaikum. So we're here on the ferry from Dover on our way to Calais. We have the Sheikh with us, and he's inshallah going to go give the lectures to the refugees over there. There's over 400 Shia, and we're trying to accommodate for them. We'll have a tent arriving on Friday, which is tomorrow, and we'll hold the first night of Muharram for them, which is the third night of Muharram. It will be the first majlis we hold for them, inshallah.
من النبش عندك عذور لا ينجدك ليش بحسين تغدور.
We've just checked into the hotel. We're staying in the room next to the Sheikh. Coming up to 1 o'clock in the morning in France. Tomorrow, inshallah, will be a very eventful day. We'll be setting up the Husayniyah and we'll hold the first majalis tomorrow night, inshallah. We've had generous donations. None of this would have been possible without the donations people have given. It's you know, gone into the over the thousands. It's just incredible, and none of this would have been possible. You know, the cost for the sheikh, the cost for the marquee that we're going to use as the Husayniyah, the cost for the food, the donations people have given instead of money, people have given big pots. Mosques have helped out. It's just been absolutely incredible, and to bring them all over and to give it out to them. There's someone donated a generator. We've got a speaker system for them. Black cloths to make sure they can put them up. Some people gave out flags, and I think you'll have seen videos of the flags, and what it means to them is just incredible. It's just beyond comprehension. I can't explain it to you in words. Today being the second day of Muharram, where I went and actually met them since Muharram had started, and one of the brothers, he just came up to me and he just started crying, and so much gratitude that they have a Muharram this year. It just breaks my heart to know that this is happening.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. أنا بصراحة لا أعرف من أين أبدأ وكيف أنتهي عن المعاناة اللي احنا عشناها في كالي، وعشناها في أوروبا ككل. كذوبة كانت أوروبا بأنها هي مبدأ الحريات. لو كانت الحريات موجودة في أوروبا وما يدعون أن أوروبا بأنها موجودة حرية، لما دعا الإنسان أنه يعيش بهذا المكان. اسم جنجل هو اسم مكان الأدغال للحيوانات، فهل يستطيع الإنسان أن يسكن في مكان للحيوانات مخصص؟ لا أعرف. هذا الكلام أوجهه للمسؤولين الأوروبيين ليدعون الناس بأنهم هم مكان للحرية، وأن أوروبا فاتحة أبوابها للحرية. جينا هنا ما لقينا حرية، لقينا إهانة، لقينا وضع مزري لا يستطيع أي إنسان مهما ما كانت بلده أو كانت ظروفه أن يعيش بهذا المكان. بصراحة جينا والله العظيم لو كنا ميتين في بلادنا بلاد الحرب كنا أكرم لنا أن نعيش بهذا المكان، اللي هو أنك تموت كإنسان دليل. مشكلتك أو أكبر همك كيف تعدي إلى بريطانيا، وحتى لو عدينا لبريطانيا ما نعرف شنو هي الظروف. هل هي أسوأ من كالي؟ هل هي أرحم من كالي؟ ما نعرف. بصراحة أنا عندي إيمان قوي، والموجودين أعتبرهم كلهم هم مؤمنين، لأن الوضعية العايشين احنا فيها لا يتحملها إلا المؤمن أو صاحب الهدف، وإحنا فينا المؤمن وفينا صاحب الهدف. بالنسبة إن كعراقيين بصراحة إلي كشخصيا، الإمام الحسين يمثل إن مدرسة ليس للعراقيين فقط وإنما للعالم أجمع، مدرسة للصبر، بعيدا عن الطائفية، بعيدا عن كلمة سني أو شيعي، مدرسة نتعلم منها الصبر.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على محمد وآله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. السلام على الحسين وعلى علي بن الحسين وعلى أولاد الحسين وعلى أصحاب الحسين وعلى قطيع الكفين وعلى عقيلة الهاشميين ورحمة الله وبركاته.
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
أحسنت.
When I found out that firstly people live on a humanitarian level, that people are living like they live in the jungle in Kale. In Iraq I see the same thing. There's not much I can do. It's not feasible to go out to Iraq often. To get a visa, it becomes a problem. The flights are very expensive. It's not feasible to go and help them regularly. So when I do go for اربعین or Ashura, I make an effort to go out to the local villages who don't have much. Try and help out. And charity is a huge thing in Islam. It's just, for example, we know the stories of Amir al-Mu'mineen, Imam Ali alayhi salam, going out in the middle of the night to give charity to the orphans and the people who couldn't, because he was in a position where he could help. And I know that I'm in a position where I can help, and people in the UK are in a position where they can help. And I urge everyone to come down to Calais, and even if it's to visit, even if it's not to help, just to understand what these people are going through. And that's on a whole across all the communities. And once I found out that there's a Shia community that doesn't have access to a Husayniyya, that doesn't have access to an Imam Bargha, that doesn't have access to a Majalis of Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam, that doesn't have a way of remembering him, that is, that's another step on that ladder. Because the way I've been brought up, the way my parents have brought me up, is that everything is live and die Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. Everything you do in your life revolves around Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. Like, if it wasn't for Imam al-Hussein, we wouldn't know who God is, we wouldn't know what prayer is, we wouldn't know anything. Imam Hussein is the epitome of justice and humanity and goodness. And he fought against oppression, and every year we come together to remember him, and the same messages, they never die. And being brought up like that, and now I'm 21, so let's say I've been listening to the Majalis for 21 years, and I've gone through 21 Muharrams, and the message is inbuilt. And for me it was absolutely absurd, the idea that they did not have a Husayniyya for Muharram. That really drove me to make sure that they do get something for Muharram.
So we're here today, the 4th day of Muharram. But yeah, we're here, we're cleaning out the tent that they already have, the current marquee. We've got the Sheikh waiting, and we're just getting everything set up. It's all going well, and hopefully within the next hour we'll have the first lecture.
كي تشفين من الحسين ضغانا لا ريب فيه هدى للمتقين الذين يؤمنون بالغيب ويقيمون.
Azadari is, the rituals of mourning Hussein alayhi salam. The beating of the chest, the crying, some other forms, the striking of the sword on one's head, are all ways of mourning Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam. They're all forms of Azadari. And for me, Azadari plays a big role in my life, because it's a physical action which has a much deeper spiritual meaning. Because Imam al-Hasan alayhi salam, the second Imam, he would walk to Hajj. From Medina he would walk to Mecca. He wouldn't take the camel, or he wouldn't sit on a horse in the travels. And while he was on Hajj, he would stand all night, and he would stand all day in his prayer, and his legs would become swollen. And people would say, like, "Ya Hassan, your legs are swollen, why don't you take a rest?" And he goes, "It's in this pain that we reach spirituality, and we reach nearness to Allah." And similarly, when we mourn Imam al-Hussein, it's through the pain that we experience. It's through the oath that we give that we reach nearness to Imam al-Hussein and ultimately reach nearness towards God. Azadari, it comes across quite strong to people who aren't accustomed to it, and it can be quite vulgar, it can be quite repulsive, it can be quite barbaric from an outside perspective. It leads people to ask questions. Why are you doing this? What's it for? And it's when people become inquisitive, that you start providing them with answers. And it's through Azadari, one, you keep your faith strong, because, not being funny, you're not going to slap your face or beat your chest over any, Tom, Dick and Harry has to say. So when people see that you're beating your chest in such a manner for Hussein, it leads them to ask, who is this Hussein that you're beating yourself for? And not only does it keep you closely attached to Imam al-Hussein, it allows other people to, wonder, why are they doing this? And they become inquisitive. And we should all be intellectually enough. We should all have read the books to be able to answer the questions as to why we do these things, and be able to provide the evidence and provide the answers as to why we express ourselves in this manner. I've got a visa application pending to go Karbala for Ashura, inshallah. And if that does come through, inshallah, God willing, I will go. And if I do go, the only thing I can really pray for after seeing what I've seen, and after hearing what I've heard from the experiences of the people in the camp, the one thing that I would ask Imam al-Hussein alayhi salam is to hasten the reappearance of Imam al-Hujjah, and to bring back justice to this world as it was once during the time of Imam Ali alayhi salam in Kufa, and as it was during the time of Rasulullah in Medina. Because we're God's creation, and we've been set guidelines on how to live our life. And unfortunately, people today, they're ignorant, they become extreme, and they cause problems for Islam, they cause problems for Muslims. They have no purpose other than to kill and be barbaric. And unfortunately, no matter which foreign authority, which country, which humanitarian state and humanitarian organization you appeal to, terrorism goes on and it won't stop, and Shias all around the world are persecuted. And I sincerely believe the only way that all of this would stop, and we do reach the stage of Kufa during the time of Imam Ali alayhi salam, and we reach the stage of Medina during the time of Rasulullah alayhi salam, is with the reappearance of Imam al-Mahdi, Ajjalallahu ta'ala farj al-Sharif.